I've seen a lot of videos about how to get the Lumix to work without overheating. And that includes like having a special cage for it with rails, a V-mount battery or whatever, a huge battery pack with a dummy battery and an SSD. Man, if it's going to take something like that to keep that camera running without overheating, then it is definitely not for me, because I'm just not, I wouldn't be interested in anything like that, because again, I'm more of a hybrid shooter than anything. So when I'm out, I'm going to be taking photos and videos, and you really can't take photos effectively if you have this huge rig. You know, that's a no-go for me. So the camera was just put out with an SD card and a CF Express Type B card. That's what it was introduced with, and it has a fan. Would like to use it in that configuration, recording to both cards at the same time without worrying about overheating after 5-6 minutes. That's just me though. But I'm not rigging up something like that. That's not a possibility in my world, in my use case. It seems like the goalpost keeps moving on what these cameras should do and what they shouldn't do. Like if you think back, kind of talk about the new Lumix versus the FX3. That's the big controversy right now in YouTube. When the FX3 first came out, it's 12 megapixels. And the big deal about it was it had like a filament quality to it, because it had low megapixel count. And it wasn't as sharp and it wasn't as detailed. And it just kind of gave a nice, pleasing look to the footage. And that's what made it so popular, all these years, is that look, the 12 megapixel look. As far as that goes, like, you can't do a lot of post, you can't do a lot of cropping in, you can't do a lot of reframing in post, because there's just not enough resolution there. There's just not enough pixels there to do that. And when you start cropping in a lot to the footage of like the 12 megapixel sensor, it gets soft really quick, because it already started off pretty soft. But that's what everybody liked about it. 4 years later, everybody's wanting this oversampled footage, 6K or 7K oversampled footage, with just going to be naturally a lot more detailed and a lot more flexibility in post, to crop in and stuff, which is just, the goalposts have been moved. The cameras hadn't changed. The goalposts have been moved. But I don't know if that's fair to do, to move the goalposts like that 4 years after a camera's been released. Now, you hear a lot about OpenGate and this and OpenGate that, but I've had a camera with OpenGate on it for almost 6 or 7 months now, and really just don't find a whole lot of use for it. It's not just 100% useful for me. Now, everybody's going to be a little bit different in that area, and I'm not saying that for most people it can be a useful feature from a camera. Absolutely, 100%. I wish every Sony camera had that, but the FX3 was not built for OpenGate at all, obviously. Because there's no possible way to put OpenGate or 6K OpenGate into the FX3. There's no possible way to do it, because the megapixels is so low. And the reason the megapixels is so low is because back in the day, to get full frame 120 frames per second footage, you had to use a sensor with 12 megapixels. And that's what everybody wanted back then too. Don't let anybody fool you. That's what the deal was back in the day. So that's just my rant. I don't know if I'll post any of this. The rhetoric online is getting so bad. The camera space is so toxic. And who really cares? I mean, get a camera that works for you, whatever it is. Just get what you want and make it work for you. That's all I'm saying. Have a good day.